Before we dive into today's story, take 1 second right now and hit that subscribe button. If you enjoy powerful stories about rare coins, hidden history, and unexpected fortunes, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you might look at old coins in a completely different way. Picture this for a moment. You're cleaning out an old drawer, maybe one you haven't opened in years. Inside, there are small pieces of metal, coins that seem ordinary, maybe even forgotten. Most people would pass right by them without a second thought. But what if one of those coins held a story so powerful, so rare, that its value could change your life? Today, we're talking about a coin that many people overlook, yet collectors quietly search for it across the world. A coin from 1976, marked with 50 cents, from South Africa. At first glance, it may not look extraordinary. It's not gold, it's not covered in diamonds, and it doesn't scream wealth. But sometimes, the most powerful treasures hide behind the simplest appearances. Now imagine the year 1976, a time of global tension, economic shifts, and cultural change. In South Africa, coins like this were part of everyday life. People used them for basic purchases, passed them between hands, and rarely thought twice about them. But history has a strange way of transforming ordinary objects into extraordinary artifacts. This particular coin carries more than just monetary value. It carries a moment in time. The design, the metal composition, the minting details all reflect a specific era. For collectors, these details are not small things. They are everything. The difference between a common coin and a rare one can come down to tiny variations that most people would never notice. Now here's where things get interesting. Not every 1976 50-cent coin is the same. Some were struck with subtle differences. Some may have minting errors. Others may have been preserved in near-perfect condition, while the rest circulated heavily and wore down over decades. These differences are what separate a coin worth a few cents from one that collectors would fight to own. Think about the journey of a single coin. It could have passed through hundreds of hands. It could have been used in markets, shops, or tucked away in a collection without anyone realizing its future importance. And yet, somehow, a few of these coins survived in remarkable condition, almost untouched by time. Collectors, especially those who have spent decades studying coins, understand something most people don't. They know that rarity is not just about age. It's about survival. It's about how many pieces are still out there, and more importantly, how many are still in exceptional condition. Now imagine a collector in his 50s or 60s, someone who has spent years building a collection. He doesn't chase trends. He doesn't look for flashy investments. He looks for meaning, for history, for pieces that tell a story. When he sees a 1976 South African 50-cent coin in pristine condition, he doesn't just see metal. He sees opportunity. And here's the truth that most people don't realize. The coin market is not driven by what something looks like. It's driven by what it represents. A rare coin becomes valuable when collectors agree that it is worth chasing. And once that demand starts to grow, the value can rise beyond anything you would expect. Now let's talk about condition, because this is where everything changes. A coin that has scratches, wear, and fading details might only be worth a small amount. But a coin that looks almost new, with sharp details and a clean surface, can enter an entirely different category. This is what collectors call high-grade condition, and it's where serious money starts to appear. There are also coins that were never meant to be released into circulation. These are known as proof coins or special strikes. They are made with extra care, often with a mirror-like finish. If a 1976 50-cent coin falls into this category, its value can rise dramatically, but the real excitement comes from errors. Yes, mistakes. Coins that were minted incorrectly, whether through misalignment, double strikes, or unusual markings, can become some of the most sought-after pieces in the world. What was once considered a flaw becomes a unique fingerprint, something that cannot be replicated. Now think about how many people might still have this coin without realizing it. It could be sitting in a jar, hidden in an old collection, or passed down through generations. Most people don't check. They don't examine the details. And that's why opportunities like this continue to exist. For many older collectors, there is something deeply satisfying about finding a coin like this. It's not just about money. It's about discovery. It's about proving that patience and knowledge can reveal something extraordinary in the most unexpected places. And here's where the story reaches its peak. Because while many of these coins may be common, there are extremely rare versions that have captured the attention of elite collectors. Coins that meet all the right conditions, rarity, preservation, and uniqueness. These are the coins that don't just sell. They make headlines. They become legends in the collecting world. They are talked about, studied, and admired for years. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. The value. While most 1976 South African 50-cent coins may only be worth a modest amount, there are exceptional examples, rare variants, high-grade specimens, and unique error coins that have reached astonishing levels in the collector market. Before we begin, take a moment to subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications, because the stories you'll hear here are not just about coins. They're about history, power, rarity, and hidden wealth that most people walk past every day without realizing it. Now let me ask you something. How many times have you held a coin in your hand and never gave it a second thought? A small piece of metal, cold, ordinary, forgotten in a drawer or a pocket. But what if that same coin carried a story so deep, so rare, and so valuable that collectors and investors around the world would stop breathing for a moment just to look at it? Today, we are talking about one such coin. The South Africa 50 cents 1988 AT first glance. This coin doesn't scream luxury or fortune. It was made for everyday use, passed from one hand to another, used for bread, transport, and simple needs. But behind its modest appearance lies a powerful connection to South Africa's economic and political transformation during the late 20th century. The year 1988 was not an ordinary time. South Africa was under intense global pressure. Internal change was brewing, and history was quietly being written in metal. The 50-cent coin from 1988 represents strength and resilience. Struck with precision, it reflects the craftsmanship of a nation that understood the importance of durability and identity. The metal composition, weight, and design were chosen not just for circulation, but for symbolism. This coin was meant to last, and it did. Many were spent, damaged, or melted down over time, but a small number survived in exceptional condition. What makes this coin truly fascinating is not just its age, but the circumstances around its production. During this period, minting numbers were tightly controlled. Political uncertainty, economic sanctions, and limited resources meant fewer high-quality coins were produced. Even fewer were preserved untouched. That is where rarity begins, and rarity is where value is born. Collectors, especially experienced men who understand long-term value, know that the most powerful assets are often overlooked at first. They are not flashy. They don't advertise themselves. They wait patiently for the right moment and the right eyes. The 1988 South Africa 50-cent coin is one of those silent giants. Over the years, serious collectors began noticing unusual characteristics in certain specimens. Slight variations in strike, exceptional detail, and near-perfect preservation turned this ordinary coin into a legend among experts. As time passed, demand grew quietly. Not from beginners, but from seasoned collectors, investors, and historians. Men who understood that true wealth is built on scarcity and story, not noise. Auctions began to heat up. Private deals happened behind closed doors. Prices climbed steadily, then sharply, then disappeared from public view altogether. This coin also carries emotional value. For many men over 55, it represents a time they lived through. A reminder of struggle, endurance, and transformation. Holding this coin is like holding a piece of lived history. It connects generations. It speaks of survival, patience, and the long game. That emotional connection adds another layer of desirability that no modern coin can replicate. Condition plays a critical role. Most coins from circulation show wear. Edges fade, surfaces scratch, details soften. But a handful of these 1988 50-cent coins exist in pristine condition, never circulated, perfectly preserved. These are the coins that cause serious collectors to lean forward, lower their voice, and listen carefully. Because they know what that condition means. It means exclusivity. Another factor is authenticity. In the world of high-value coins, trust is everything. Genuine examples with documented history and verified origin stand alone in their class. These are not pieces you find easily. They emerge rarely, often from old collections, estates, or forgotten safes. When they do, the competition is fierce. What truly separates this coin from thousands of others is the combination of timing, rarity, condition, and demand. Miss one of those elements, and a coin remains average. Have all of them align, and you create something extraordinary. The 1988 South Africa 50-cent coin sits precisely at that intersection. Many men spend their lives searching for secure investments, tangible assets, and legacy pieces they can pass down. Gold bars are common. Property is heavy with responsibility. But a coin like this is portable history. It holds value beyond numbers. It tells a story without saying a word. Now here's the part most people are not ready for. While many still believe this is just another old coin, elite collectors already know the truth. One specific example of the South Africa 50-cent 1988 coin, preserved in flawless condition with verified rarity, has reached a value that shocks even seasoned investors. Before we dive into something truly fascinating, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. You don't want to miss discoveries like this, especially if you've ever had a keen eye for rare treasures or a soft spot for history hiding in plain sight. Today, we're uncovering a gem from South Africa, a coin that looks ordinary at first glance, but I promise you, by the end of this video, it's going to blow your mind. Now, imagine holding a piece of history right in your hand. A coin minted over 3 decades ago, carrying stories from a nation that's seen dramatic change. Yet this small piece of metal has survived the test of time, quietly waiting for someone to appreciate its true worth. This is not just a 50-cent piece. It's a bridge to a past era, a tangible link to a world before smartphones, streaming, and instant everything. And for collectors, it's a golden opportunity wrapped in silver, or in this case, cupronickel. The coin we're talking about today is the 50 cents from South Africa, minted in 1989. At first glance, you might think it's just like any other coin sitting in a jar or your wallet. But let me tell you, there's a lot more going on here than meets the eye. Its design reflects the artistry and pride of South Africa during that period. The obverse proudly displays the national emblem, a reminder of the country's identity at the time. Flip it over, and you'll notice the intricate details that make this coin a standout. Every line, every curve, and every subtle nuance in its engraving tells a story. A story of craftsmanship that many modern coins simply lack. For collectors, the year 1989 isn't just a number. It represents an era when coins were minted with precision, care, and purpose. Back then, the minting process wasn't mass-produced to the point of losing character. Each coin carried weight, both literally and figuratively. And while today's coins might seem mundane, this piece from South Africa captures a moment in history when every coin mattered, when every detail could make a difference in its collectability. Now, let's talk about rarity. Not all coins from the 1980s are valuable, but this particular 50-cent coin has something special. Coins like this are sought after because of their limited circulation and the stories they carry. Over time, many of these coins were lost, melted, or simply spent and forgotten. That means the ones that survive, in good condition, become increasingly rare. And rarity, as any seasoned collector knows, is where real value is born. If you're the kind of person who loves discovering hidden treasures, this is where it gets exciting. Picture walking into your local coin shop, or even a casual collector's meetup, and casually dropping a coin on the table that could be worth more than you ever imagined. There's a thrill in that, a rush that's hard to beat, knowing that something so small, something you could almost overlook, carries enormous significance. And it's not just about monetary value. There's a sense of pride, a connection to history, that comes from owning a piece like this. Holding it, examining it, tracing its details with your fingers, it's almost like holding a conversation with the past. And for those of us who appreciate craftsmanship, detail, and a story behind an object, that's priceless. Let's also consider the design from a collector's perspective. Coins from South Africa in the late 1980s were not only functional currency, but also miniature works of art. Every curve, every letter, every symbol is meticulously crafted. The 50-cent coin's reverse design is particularly intriguing. Its symmetry, its balance, the way it catches the light. These are the things that set it apart from the everyday coins you see circulating today. And for a collector, those qualities can turn an ordinary coin into a conversation piece, a centerpiece for a collection, or even a family heirloom to pass down through generations. But what about condition? Here's the thing. Even coins that have been in circulation can be valuable if they've been preserved well. Look for coins with clear details, minimal scratches, and that unmistakable luster that makes the metal shine just right. Coins that are crisp, clean, and well-preserved often command a higher value, especially among serious collectors who are looking to complete their sets or acquire standout pieces. Now, I know many of you watching are thinking about investments. Let me be clear. Coins like this aren't just collectibles. They can also be a smart way to preserve wealth. Unlike stocks that fluctuate daily or investments that vanish overnight, tangible assets like rare coins have a history of maintaining, and sometimes increasing, their value over time. For those who appreciate both history and financial savvy, finding a coin like this can be doubly rewarding. And here's a little secret. The thrill of the hunt is part of the magic. Searching for rare coins, attending auctions, even checking change in your pocket. It's a journey. Every coin has a story, and the 50-cent coin from 1989 South Africa is one that collectors dream of encountering. Its legacy isn't just in its metal or design. It's in the excitement, the anticipation, and the joy of discovery that comes with holding a rare piece of history. Before we reveal its current value, remember why you're here. To witness the story of a coin that's far more than its face value. A coin that connects you to history, challenges your eye for detail, and excites your passion for collecting. And if you've stayed with me this long, it's because you understand that real treasures often come quietly, waiting for the patient and observant to notice. So, what is this coin worth today? How much could a 50-cent piece from 1989 South Africa really fetch? Well, here's the moment you've been waiting for. Depending on its condition, rarity, and the demand among collectors, this coin can be valued at an astonishing $25,000. That's right, $25,000 for a coin that most people would overlook. It's a powerful reminder that sometimes the smallest objects can hold the greatest surprises. And there you have it. A coin that seems humble but carries incredible value, both historically and financially. If you've enjoyed this journey into the world of rare coins, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. There's a whole universe of treasures out there, waiting to be discovered, and we'll uncover them together. Remember, history is all around us. You just have to know where to look. Before we begin, take a moment to hit that subscribe button. If you're a coin lover, a collector, or just someone who enjoys hearing stories of hidden treasures, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Each week, we bring you something that could be hiding in your drawer, your closet, or maybe even your wallet. And trust me, today's story is one of those that might just stop you in your tracks. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever walked past an old coin, flipped it between your fingers, and thought, this is just pocket change? You're not alone. Most of us grew up in a world where coins were simply a way to buy bread, fill the tank, or maybe grab a newspaper. But time has a strange way of changing value, not just in currency, but in meaning, in rarity, and in history. And what used to be just 50 cents might now be worth the price of a mansion. Imagine this. It's the late 1960s or early 70s. You're standing in line at a corner store in Johannesburg. The air is warm. The world is different. You hand over a 50-cent coin to pay for a pack of smokes or a can of condensed milk. No second thoughts. You pocket the change, maybe toss that silver coin in your drawer, and forget it. Life moves on. But what if I told you that very same coin, one just like it, is today making collectors all over the world lean forward in their chairs, holding their breath in auctions, watching bids climb like wildfire. There's something deeply fascinating about South African coins, especially from the time when designs were shifting, leaders were changing, and silver was slowly being phased out. And right in the middle of that moment stood a coin that many never gave a second look, the 50-cent piece. But here's the twist. Not all of them were created equal. Some were struck differently. Some carried errors. Some had such low mintages that finding one today is like fishing for diamonds in the ocean. Now I want you to imagine the following scene. A man in his 60s is cleaning out his late father's desk. Among old pens, worn-out envelopes, and brittle black and white photos, he finds a small coin pouch. Inside, a few rusted buttons, a key that opens no door anymore, and a shiny silver 50-cent coin. He turns it over, notices the coat of arms, the crisp edges, and a date that makes his brow furrow. He shrugs, puts it aside, until something tells him to look it up. What happens next is no ordinary Google search. It's a doorway, a realization. This is no ordinary coin. This is the kind of piece that lives in the dreams of collectors. It's the kind of coin auction houses whisper about. Because this very 50-cent coin from South Africa, carries more than just silver. It carries a story, a scarcity, a secret. Now here's the part that gets really interesting. There's a particular version of this coin, produced during a transitional period, with specific mint marks, exacting detail, and a condition so pristine it looks untouched by time. That has fetched prices many wouldn't believe unless they saw the receipts. We're not talking about a few $100s. We're not even talking 5 or 10,000. We are talking serious figures, numbers that start to make your heart beat a little faster. You see, coins like this don't just become valuable overnight. It takes decades of aging, rarity, collector demand, and that mysterious it factor, something that can't quite be replicated or explained. It's the perfect storm, historical relevance, minting anomaly, and scarcity all in one small, metallic circle. And while most people glance past it, the wise, the patient, know its true potential. Now I know many of you watching right now grew up in a time when we valued things differently. We fixed what was broken. We held on to things. We remembered where we came from. So I'm asking you, what if that old box in your attic, that jar of coins in your garage, or that drawer in your bedroom is holding something that the world is ready to pay a fortune for? What if you've already touched it, maybe even dismissed it? And what if, after all these years, it's time for it to tell its story? I'm not here to hype up every old coin. Not every piece of change from the past is going to make you rich. But every once in a while, there's a coin that breaks the rules. A coin that defies its humble beginnings. A coin that goes from everyday currency to elite collector status. And when that happens, you'll wish you had paid just a little more attention. This is your moment. Check your coins. Look at the years. Notice the detail. Because hidden in plain sight could be the kind of treasure that changes your story. And if you happen to find a 50-cent coin from South Africa, especially one that shines with history, clarity, and rarity, you might just be holding more than a memory. You might be holding a miracle, because the top example of this very coin has been valued, verified, and sold for an astonishing amount. An eye-watering price tag that would have seemed impossible back in the day when you could buy a loaf of bread for a few cents. That number, my friend, is $2 million. Yes, $2 million. And it all began with 50 cents. So go ahead, open that drawer. Dig through those boxes. You never know, the next great coin story might just begin with you. And if you want to hear more stories like this, real coins, real people, real value, don't forget to subscribe. There's a world of hidden treasure out there, and we're just getting started.